What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another BFR. Last night on January 28th at 7:30 p.m., the Hawks faced off against the Colorado Avalanche for their fourth and final meeting of the season at home. And I gotta say, Chicago's played Colorado already four times this year. They may have lost every single one. They took 1 point out of 8, but they were pretty close games. No game was more than 2 goals apart. First game of the season, Colorado won 4-2. Second time they played, Colorado wins in overtime 4-3. Third time, Colorado wins 2-0, and then this time, Colorado wins 6-4. A couple of empty netters in there, but what a wild game in the third period. The first 2 periods were an absolute snooze fest. The third period, it flipped the script of the entire game. A lot of headlines coming into this, a lot of news around the league. Starting off with Patrick Sharp was back in the studio after taking a bit of half of a year off. Patrick Sharp, former Blackhawk, is in the studio during the pregame, postgame, intermission lives. And Vander Kane signs in Edmonton. Other news: Zegras scores the lacrosse goal, an amazing goal by Zegras. Eddie Olczyk back in the booth after having some health issues. I'm just gonna say because I don't know the proper term of what it was called. It wasn't any pandemic related, I should say. Taze is in concussion protocol coming into this. Stillman is out 2 to 3 weeks from returning with an upper body injury. Johnson is still a month from returning after going disc replacement surgery. And then McKinnon is out injured after him and Hall collided during the Boston game, the same night of the Hawks-Detroit game. Delia was the backup. Soderblom was back in the minors. Sergei Zubov's number was retired in Dallas, and then Henrik Lundqvist's number was retired with the Rangers. Colorado has lost 1 game in regulation in their last 22 coming into this, now in their last 23. And Maple Leafs have expressed interest in Calvin DeHaan, so if the Hawks can get something good back for him, that would be great. It's DeHaan's on an expiring contract. I think it'd be a good idea to move him prior to the deadline or at the deadline, just to get some picks back. Has had a really strong second half of the season so far. Even prior to as soon as after the Christmas break, he came back into the New Year. He's played excellently, and I have no complaints about his game except for that 1 goal he gave to Detroit. But other than that, he's been fine. So Hawks lose 6-4. That's all that news aside. Their record moves to 16-21-7. Again, not a horrible loss. It was just an exciting third period, so that was fun to watch. Fleury saves 21 out of 25. Francouz saves 39 out of 43. The Hawks have a season-high 43 shots on net. As they're in the shots, Chicago outshoots them 43-27, outhits them 29-26, and Chicago outfaceoffs them as well, 36-33. Chicago, however, on the power play 0 for 3, and Colorado goes 2 for 3 on the power play. Taze was out, Connolly was in. And we get right into the first, where in the first minute a Nichushkin high stick was uncalled on DeHaan, and I can't believe that wasn't called, to be honest. Then at 17-14, it's a Colorado penalty to Rantanen for tripping. And then there was an O'Connor breakaway, and there was a diving poke by Fleury. And then Murphy prevented an empty netter. That was, awful penalty. Colorado seemed to be on the power play more. Murphy kept the puck out of the net. Fleury made a diving poke and it went out of play. So, aside from those 2 things, nothing else happened relatively good on the power play. Good stick lift on Kadri, which saved a goal. And then at 15:28, it's a Chicago penalty to Borgstrom for tripping, which would be killed. And then there would be 14 seconds of 4-on-4 as the Rantanen penalty was still going on. Makar hits the crossbar. Good stick lift. That's the same thing. Good save on Kane. Fleury, great up ice pass. And then at 10:08, a Colorado penalty to Jost for tripping, which would be killed. And Whistle draws his second penalty of the game. Strome breakaway. Good move. Good save by Francouz. Francouz has played really well against Chicago this year, I will say. He had a shutout in his last appearance, and this time he although he allows 4 goals, the Hawks in the third period were unstoppable. You could not stop them. Murphy is now third in the NHL in shot blocks. in 1948 of the second period, so 12 seconds in, it's a delay of game penalty to Calvin DeHaan. And on that Colorado power play, it's a great save by Fleury on Nichushkin. Kadri misses a wide open net. But then at 18:45, it's a Colorado power play goal to Gabriel Landeskog from Girard and Makar to make it 1-0. And then Kadri misses another open net, and then Newhook gets the rebound, and at 14:49, it's a Colorado goal to Alex Newhook from Kadri. However, what would have made it 2-0, it's a coach. Chicago challenges it for offside. It is offside, so it goes back to 1-0. Then Eric Johnson and Jost collide. Colorado turnovers in their defensive zone, giving the Hawks opportunities. Hagel had a big hit on Comfer. They fight. Hagel was energizing the crowd. They each get 5 minutes each. They stay fit 5-on-5 though. No penalty for instigating or whatever. The puck hit ref in the private area, so my condolences to that ref. Hagel misses the net point blank twice. And then Murphy had a huge hit on Rantanen. Rantanen stayed down. The Avs went after Murphy. He was fine. He could play the rest of the game, and nothing big came out of that, except the game got a lot more physical from there. Increased physicality. Fleury, good save and positioning on a rebound. Good save, Fleury on his back. DeBrincat and Kane nearly had a 2-on-0, but it was Kadri was able to get the puck a little bit to the side, so Kane couldn't get it. Good save on Makar, and then at 3:56, it's a Colorado goal to JT Compher, his 8th of the season. Compher had a great game, I will say that. He was physical, he was scoring goals, he was getting assists. He just had an overall great game. The Chicago boy, as Heidi Ulrich called him, from Chicago, so has probably a bit more motivation from playing in front of probably the team he cheered for growing up as a kid. So his 8th of the season from Jostin O'Connor to make it 2-0. Hawks have missed the net a ton. There was a good save on Newhook, and then a great save by Francouz on Kane. Lafferty had a big hit on Comfer, and then Comfer came right back and hit Lafferty. Big glove save on Borgstrom. And at 18.3 seconds left in the second, there's a Chicago penalty to Kane for hooking. In the first two periods, aside from two big hits, they were pretty extremely boring. But we go to the third, everything changes. So Colorado starts on the penalty on the power play. Then at 18:44, it's a deflected rebound goal that gives Colorado a power play goal from Gabriel Landeskog, his second of the game, with his 18th of the season from Rantanen to make it 3-0. Then 22 seconds later, Chicago responds with a deflected goal of their own as they score it's Brandon Hagel, his 12th of the season, from Murphy to make it 3-1. And then 40 seconds after that, at 17:42, it's another Chicago deflected goal, this time from Patrick Kane, his 10th of the season, from Gustafsson, to make it 3-2. So we're starting to come back. Kubalik then nearly ties it, and then DeBrincat nearly scores. And then we get a 2-on-1 for Colorado, and they come back down the ice. And then 36 seconds after the original 3-2 goal, Colorado makes it 4-2 as Alex Newhook gets his what would have been his second of the game if the first one had counted, but it's his first of the game from Kadri and Burakovsky to make it 4-2. Kadri has 50 assists on the season now, and I can't believe that Nazem Kadri just come out of nowhere and just stolen the spotlight as the Colorado star, even though McKinnon is still considered the star. I don't know how he was a last ballot vote-in for the All-Star game. Kadri might be the best player in the Western Conference right now, aside from McDavid and Draisaitl, but Edmonton's been struggling, and yeah. It was an overall great shot. Fleury didn't really have a chance. Then a good chance for the Hawks was cleared, and then at 14:18, it's a Colorado penalty to Abe Kubel for slashing, which would be killed, but it was their best power play yet. Hagel took a vicious whack, no call, and then he was basically loitering back to the bench. He was slow. He was barking at the refs a bit, and it was well deserved. He just basically two-handed slashed him on the hand, and there was no penalty called. Then Caleb Jones went hard into the boards. He was fine. And then at 6 minutes, it's a Chicago goal from Patrick Kane, his second of the game, 11th of the season, from Strome to make it 4-3. And it's great patience. He just waited Francouz out. No one was on him, and he had a wide open net at the end of it. Makes it 4-3. And then Kane tripped on a spinorama The crowd, no penalty whatsoever. The crowd is booing like crazy. And then DeHaan blocks a shot, and he limps back to the bench. He would be missing from the bench for a few minutes until he had basically just had to walk it off and came back. And then Rantanen saves a goal with Franco down. But then Hawks pull the net. There was a scrum then started by Murphy and O'Connor, and that no penalties would be called in result. Fleury was pulled at 2:15. And at 2:02, it's a Colorado empty net goal from Nazem Kadri from Rantanen to make it 5-3. But the game is not over, as then Fleury is pulled again at 1:39, and at 1:29, 10 seconds later, it's a Chicago goal, his second of the game. Brandon Hagel. It's with 6 skaters on the ice. His 12th or 13th of the season. That's his 13th of the season, so he's having a great season, Hagel. If he scores 20, that's already way more than his contract says. He's like 1.5 for $3 million. Hagel might be the most dedicated player on this team, and I've been saying that for a while. He will give his heart and soul to win a game, no matter what night it is. It's from Kane and Gustafson. It was a scrum in front of the net. Hawks were just poking at it. I can't believe it wasn't goaltender interference, because there were about 7 bodies in the mess, and then it went off and ended up going. Hagel was the last one to touch it. Ended up going off Landeskog, and it makes it 5-4, and the Hawks are within 1 again. Then Doc had a stupid icing, and then Carpenter had a great dangle and nearly goes around everyone and tied the game. If he did that, I would have gone nuts, but Franco made a good save on him, so he couldn't complete it. Then Fleury's again pulled at 1:20. Then Franco is standing on his head. Hawks, I can't believe, didn't tie it in the last minute and 20 seconds. There was a good chance that was barely saved, and then at 32.6 seconds, it's a Hawks timeout. Then at 12.2 seconds, Cale Makar from his own zone, about 160 feet away, he just throws the puck over everyone across center ice, and it perfectly lands into the net. Cale Makar is going to win several Norrises, and one of my Colorado videos, the overtime winner, I said Cale Makar is a beast. Cale Makar is the best defenseman in the league, in my opinion. Offensively, without question, he's now got, because at 12.2 seconds, it's a Colorado empty net goal. Cale Makar, 18 goals on the season. That would have been second on the Hawks. That's how good that is. That's from Comfort to make it 6-4, and it just landed perfectly in the net. He should win the Norris this year, in my opinion. No matter what, he should win several more Norrises. If he keeps this up, he's a guaranteed Hall of Famer, and one of my favorite players to watch on the ice, I will say. Anything new in the standings? Pittsburgh is now taking the lead in the Metropolitan. They might be the second hottest team in the league right now, next to Colorado. Carolina's come back to second. Rangers have fallen to third. That division is so tight. Washington's been losing a bit, so they're kind of out of the top 3 race at this point. But the East is pretty much settled, so you don't have to worry about it. In the West, no change, but Edmonton has won 3 in a row now, and now that they've signed Evander Kane, maybe they get things turned around. Who knows? And yeah, other than that, Vegas leading the Pacific, Colorado the Central, Florida the Atlantic, Pittsburgh the Metropolitan. Do like this Henderson Silver Knights sweatshirt I got from Vegas. Got family that lives out there, and they send me a bunch of stuff. So that's why I got a bunch of Vegas Golden Knights stuff and Henderson Silver Knights stuff. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Overall, third period was the best part of the game, but that third period was wow. But yeah, other than that, that's all I have for you guys today, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.